Welcome to the Kids to Love podcast. We're casual edition today because we've been in the warehouse this morning. Mojo, of course, is my guest, and we're gearing up for your 23rd year of Bikes or Bust,
Yes.
our third year partnering with you guys for Bikes or Bust. And so we want to go ahead and put the plug out the 20th through the 24th. Ashley HomeStore, bring us your bikes. We want a...
1,004.
1,004.
We did 1,000 last year. This year we want to do 1,004 is what she kept telling me that. I said, we're good at 1,000. She says, no, it's got to be 1,000.
Because it's 104.3 ZYP.
Right.
So we've got to stay loyal to the brand.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the suit will be happy about that.
Yeah. Tell the suit we did. So let's kind of talk about, I want to talk about, because I love your heart behind this. And I think, coming from the world of media, it's so important that we do our part, I think, in that space to give back.
Sure.
And this has been such a blessing to so many in our community for 23 years.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you brought it up about being in the media, and we have an obligation to do that. I think, and I tell people this every year when we're doing the event, I think God put me in this position. This is not a position that I deserve by any means. My show it was given to me. I was placed there. And I think it was by God to do this mission as well as other missions in terms of, helping the community and particularly children. So it's not a job per se.
Until the alarm clock goes off.
Well, I mean, that's the hardest part. The hardest part about what I do is getting up in the morning.
Yeah. 23 years of getting up in the morning.
Well, 23 years for this. I've been doing, radio for almost 30. But I've been here I'm in my 23rd year. And we started Bikes or Bust literally a month after I got here. A month and, a month and 2 weeks or something like that after I first started here.
That's still part of your hazing.
90-day
probation. Should we say it that way? Let's keep the suits out of the lawsuits.
It was, it was one of those things where when I came in, because I came here from Boise, Idaho, and by way of Texas, by way of Oklahoma, by way of Michigan. So, I've been all over the country. When I landed here, we had a meeting before I first went on air. That was in September of that year. Before I actually started, I started in October of the year, but in September that year, we sat and talked about what I wanted to see of the show, like what did I want the show to be able to accomplish and that kind of things, or those kind of things. And the one thing that I told them right out the gate is I want to be able to not only be a member of a community, but I want to be able to help the community in any way that I can. And so, ideas were bounced around. What are we going to do, and what do you want to do? And somebody, and I'll give him credit, Ricky Mitchell, who's used to be on our sales staff, incredible guy, but he came up with the idea of going up in this scissor lift 40 feet in the air for 104 hours or until I got 104 bikes for the charity at the time. And, I told him in that meeting, I said, why would we stop at 104 bikes? If I'm going to commit for 104
hours.
It's just an afternoon. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And they, there's probably a dozen of us sitting at that table, and everybody, you're not going to get 104 bikes. And I was like, I bet you I can get in 104 hours. I said, I bet you I can get people to donate 500 bikes. And they didn't think it was possible. So I told them, I said, well, let me just, I'm going to stay up there for 104 hours, and let's just see what we end up with. Let's see how many people we can help. And so that first year we ended up with just over, it was right at 600 bikes is what we ended up with. And, and from there it just grew. And obviously year after year into now the 23rd year, which is, it sounds crazy, but it's a labor of love for all of us. And I got to be honest, when we teamed up, when you and I teamed up and brought Kids to Love in, we also brought in the Alabama National Guard.
That was a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. As far as, the support that we need to put bikes together and to organize the way that this goes down every year, you need a lot of hands, and so thankfully the Alabama National Guard is here to help, and they're giving back to their community like they always do. So
what I love about it, and of course we've been doing Christmas for kids for 21 years. And I loved when you reached out to partner because everybody in town that would give bikes would give it to Mojo. And I'm like, I need bikes. And so we would have these great bags and these great gifts. But what I love is we're just in such a community of givers,
Absolutely.
First of all. But secondly, this, like, we have people that sponsor wish lists for kids every year with us, but being there with you guys as families drop off, I mean, their kids are part of it. They save during the year. They bring truckloads of bikes. That's what I love, is the tradition that you're creating, that we get to create for families to give and to support children that without their support in foster care wouldn't have Christmas. I mean,
Right.
that's the magic secret
Well,
sauce.
I'll give you a couple of prime examples. One, we have a family out in, I believe they're in the Somerville area, the Oliver family. And it started with the wife, who was at the time working for one of the defense contractors here. And that defense contractor used to bring me bikes. Well, she decided that she wanted to take that on as well with her family and donate as a family. So her and her husband, that first year, I think they brought maybe 5 bikes. And they said to me then, we're going to double our donation every year.
Oh my gosh.
They're now up to 100 bikes, I think.
Wow.
And they dropped those off the last couple of years. Now, last year, I take that back, because last year they came with a big check because they didn't have the space to hold bikes anymore. They were telling me that the year before that, when they did the 100 the first time, that their house, it was just always FedEx trucks dropping off bikes at their house, and they had so many bikes in their garage they couldn't park in their garage anymore.
I need you to reroute that to the Ashley Furniture Store if you don't mind.
So they would come with this big trailer just filled with bikes and come down, and they still, to this day, I got a message from her just the other day saying, we're going to be back. We're excited. So that's one of them. I've got another gentleman, Sean. He and his daughter. His daughter is 13 years old this year. And for the last several years, he donates a bike for every year of her life. Oh. So he'll donate 13 bikes, and then he plays in that the softball game between the city and Redstone, and I play on the team as well with the city against the Redstone Arsenal softball team. And he tells me every year, he says, if you get a base hit, I'll add another bike. So
no pressure.
Yeah, well, no, none at all. So I get a base hit. Sometimes they're fabricated, but it works.
I mean, the children.
Every once in a while, I have to tell an umpire, this is for the kids, right?
That's right.
He's like, you're safe. That's right. So I get that extra bike. So this year, he and his daughter are going to bring 14 bikes, which is pretty cool. And those are just a few of them. I mean, I get a lot more of the one that I love to hear the most is when we get young people that are early 20s, something like that, and they come in and they say they donate bikes, and they said our parents brought us here to donate bikes when we were young. And now that we're grown and we're on our own, we want to come and donate bikes. And so it's pretty special to see that it's generational now. Yeah. This event starts a lot of people's holiday, and I love that.
Yeah. Well, and of course, it's right before Thanksgiving. So, but because of the time of year it is, I do believe that it melts the Grinch's heart, because it is that time of year. But because it is that time of year, there's also elements of November.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun.
The elements.
The elements.
We've seen it all over the course of these the 22 years that I've done it so far. But we have seen it all. We've seen years where it's been warm, unseasonably warm, and of course when you're 40 feet off the ground, it's even warmer. But the same is said when it's cold. Because there's nothing up there to break the wind. So when it's when it's 16 degrees at night or 14 degrees at night, there's nothing up there to keep you.
Oh, there's something up there to break the wind, but we're not going to talk about that.
Well, I can say that it's relatively close to a certain store down there that people will bring me, things to warm up with.
Yes.
Put them in my bucket.
Yes. Yes. And so what I love is last couple of years we've been able to go up to the scissor lift as we've been there to get content, shoot stories, check on you. And I mean, you've really got this down to a science. You've got the perfect little camping setup atop the scissor lift.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm homeless for 5 days, but it's up away from everyone. But I have figured it out. I mean, it's been, you don't do it for that long and not figure out some tricks of the trade. I don't take any external heat up there, though. It's all layers. So, so I don't use a heater. I don't, nothing like that. But I do take a coffee maker because I got to be able to get up in the morning. So
that's right. Yes.
But it's the weather can be frightening sometimes. We had one year that it literally, and I can't remember what year it was. It's been some time ago, probably 2005 maybe. But it was literally sleeting for 5 days. It did not stop,
Gosh.
and it was the roughest time I ever had.
Well, and that's when you're like, you better bring me some bikes. If I'm sitting up here
Yeah,
with these
well,
kids,
you know what's
better bring
funny
me
is
some
I think there's a direct correlation to how much I suffer and how
suffrage,
much
yes.
how many bikes we get.
Right.
Because if it's nice weather outside, people are like, he's fine. If I'm up there, going through the elements when they're tough,
With
people
frosted
feel bad
fingers.
about it, and so they want to reward me by rewarding the children. So I'm good with that.
Right.
And I'm okay with the bad weather for that reason. So.
Right. All right, so this is coming up November 20th through the 24th, Ashley HomeStore on the Parkway, South Parkway in Huntsville. 1,004 bikes is the goal. And let me just also say, if you've not bought your bikes yet, we really need the teenager. And I know a lot of people think, oh my gosh, I could get 2 little ones for the cost of one. And I appreciate that. But we've got so many teenagers that need bikes. So that would be my request to you. And then for us, what I love is when all the case managers pick up the Christmas and they see all the bikes. And so, and we provide Christmas for North Alabama, Southern Tennessee, the Tennessee Valley, which is everybody that's listening to you. And the Tennessee counties, that they will pull up in a semi. And we'll load the bags of gifts and then the bikes. And then the next county gets the bags and the bikes and the bags and the bikes. And let me also say that space is never an option. We'll always find more. And I actually walked through 30,000 square foot warehouse space yesterday.
Wow.
So we have plenty of places to put your bikes.
That's good. And you mentioned the older children and the need for the bikes and everything. I thought an interesting story that you told me, actually, I think it was last year, about the kid that was his transportation.
Yeah.
He got that bicycle and he was able to use that to get back and forth to work. And of course that, propelled him on, to adulthood. And I think that's an amazing story.
Yeah.
But it also goes to show that we do need those, the older bikes. Because some of these kids will use that just for that.
Right.
They need to be able to they can't afford a car per se or a truck or whatever, and they need to get back and forth to employment. And they can use a bike to do that.
Right. All right, so we hope to see you out at the Ashley Furniture Store the 20th through the 24th. You go up Thursday morning at
10 a.m.
and come down Monday night.
Monday night at 6 p.m.
Okay. And come out there and just listen. If you go by a honk, just not between the hours of
They're going to do it anyway.
11 and 3.
They're going to do it anyway. Don't tell them not to. They're going to do it for sure now.
Yeah.
But they do all night, 24 hours a day. They're honking at me.
Yeah. And the first day you're like, hey, and the third day you're like,
No, it's funny is when I come down and I see people and they're like, hey, did you hear me? I honked at you when I went by. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah, I heard you. I know the distinction of
Yes.
your horn. Yes.
That's it. Well, thank you for doing this. Thank you for partnering with us. We love working with you guys, just top notch. Thanks to the Army National Guard guys for being there on the ground and putting it together, because as you'll see in another content that we'll be sharing, you don't need us putting your bikes together at all. It's not a good day.
Better collecting them.
Duct tape, yeah, we'll collect, because duct tape may be a factor. All right, to see this full podcast, of course, you can log on to Kids to Love at any time and always find out more information there. You can find Mojo at ZYP, follow his pages for his morning show, and support his efforts for supporting our kids. Thanks, man.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.